All right, quick update.
Woohoo!
It's like, but that's on me. Okay.
What's our order, producer?
It's time to help customize the save.
Everyone, give me a number between 1 and 20.
21.
11.
All right. Keelan, what's your number?
14.
14. It'll be Ethan, Keelan, Norma, myself. Ethan, I'm guessing you have a +2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, don't forget your bonuses, guys.
It's an 11 flat.
I have a -2.
So have y'all seen anything about that? I'm not Starfire comic.
No. There's a comic?
Okay. So the story is that this is Starfire's daughter who has no powers, who is overweight emo chick.
Okay.
So throughout the show, she's very angry, or book I should say. She's very angry, mean, constantly like. For some reason, everything turns to food eventually for her. She's like, "Fuck off, Mom! I'm gonna go get a cheeseburger." But yeah, it's been funny just to see everybody's reactions to it.
That's
She's just like a
interesting.
normal kid.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a superhero comic about a superhero that has no powers and who's not really a hero.
That reminds me, remember Lilo and Stitch? And then it was like, he was Experiment 626, but they also introduced Experiment 625, and he was like super smart, but just super lazy.
Yeah.
All he did was make sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yes.
His name was Ruben. I remember that. They gave him a name.
Because he had all the same powers as Stitch, except for some weird reason when they were doing the mutations, they messed up. Instead of him wanting to destroy everything, he only wanted to build things, and so he built sandwiches.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a great series,
His
man.
purpose was sandwiches.
Was it sandwiches? Oh, I thought it was he wanted to build something in.
No, it was
He
sandwiches,
got
yeah.
Sandwiches.
He wanted to build sandwiches. I remember that.
Yeah. So just watching everybody's reaction to this comic is funny for the fact that was somebody entering and leaving? I don't know.
Yeah, it's NJ.
Discord die on you.
Yeah, like Alan and Ethan were both frozen.
Damn.
The biggest thing they're saying, they're like, oh, the writer just made a fan story about herself and put it in the DC world. And then they show the writer, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a photocopy.
Oh
She
my God.
literally drew herself, like verbatim.
People are buying it.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
That works. That works.
It's bombing. It's crashing harder than anything else.
Eesh.
Oh.
Oh no.
Guess-
It's crashing harder than the U.S. economy. Heyo.
Do you think if I hold up my new shield, it'll defend me against it?
Eros made it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It actually looks badass for
Yeah.
being homemade.
Look at that. He even. He did a pretty good job. Him and
He
Norman.
enlisted my help. I hot glued it for him, but he was the mastermind behind the whole creation.
It looks cool. I mean, hell, he's into arts and crafts. That's not bad.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh my
not bad.
gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Make
love
a
that
few
he
more,
loves
we'll
art.
have a mini battle.
What's up?
Tell him to make a few more and some swords, and we'll have a mini battle.
What's even
He would love
funnier
that.
is that he wanted to
Okay,
fight me with
right.
a lightsaber, so I have it in my office again. And he has his own Master Sword and Hylian. Well, you guys seen it. Forget you
Kid's
guys.
gonna get wrecked.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Kid's gonna get wrecked. All right.
Yep.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Nope, I completely forget.
You're second.
Second.
just
Okay,
go.
sweet. Or first.
You're first.
I don't know.
The topics we discuss are many,
No story too bold to talk about.
Strictly our own opinions.
But they are opinions from people like you.
Welcome to the NAKE'd podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. It's your boy Ethan. Ooh, ooh.
So I heard that Britney Spears' next December court date moved to September. I'm super excited. What up, guys? It's Keelan.
Whoop, whoop.
Hashtag free Keelan.
I learned that Scotland's banner creed was in Latin, and it means basically fuck around and find out in Latin. Which is awesome. It's your girl NJ, my new family crest motto.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
In Latin.
Wait, how do you say it in Spanish though?
Chingasita chingo.
There you go.
Hey, I've heard that before.
Yeah. It's your DM friendly reminder to take your vitamins today. It's your DM Tech Alan. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday.
You Brussels
Happy
sprouts
Monday.
count?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Chock full of iron, I think.
So you know we're low on forks when Puzzle busts out her Doctor Who fork.
Why you
Oh
gotta call
my.
me out like that?
Oh my God. So, is that the
This is
spork or the fork, dude?
This is pork.
So I had one of those too. Mine broke right above the metal part.
Mm.
Yeah.
He just found it. He found it in the drawer, and it was like behind where the forks and the spoons sit. And he pulled it out like a couple days ago, and he was like, "Oh no, I broke." It was so sad.
I have some super glue. I hope I can super glue it back together and just put my sonic
Super
screwdriver.
glue holds the world together.
With
Yeah.
the power of raw.
Dude, so I used to keep this in my desk drawer, and you can kind of see the crack right there past this knob. It broke, and it's being held together by super glue now. Still works. Hasn't broken
Hey,
yet.
if it works, it works.
Right?
Well, that is what many developers who create QR codes have been saying. So you guys have probably seen them at like restaurants, right? Like scan a QR code and you can see their menu or place your order. And I think we've seen more of them like as the pandemic has, gone on. Nobody wants to touch a menu. Nobody wants to clean those menus. And I think too, like it just makes sense that that's like a natural progression. But could there be security concerns? So that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what has
Something I
y'all's
hadn't
experience
thought of
been?
until you brought it up? Like I feel silly
Yeah.
for not thinking about that now.
Right?
I just trusted.
Exactly. And to think about, what like to say the number one way to hack something is to put some software on a hard drive and throw it on the ground and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Because how many people are gonna pick up a flash drive and go, ooh, what's this, and plug it into a computer?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You don't plug random flash drives or hard drives you find out in the street and just plug them into your computer. No, you don't do that.
Yeah, you do that at the library.
Yeah, you do that at the library.
I think I've seen like way too many like movies, action movies, where I'm like, oh no, this flash drive holds like the world cure to whatever. Like, but yeah, so the QR code was adapted quickly in the pandemic, and restaurants are using it, retailers like CVS and Foot Locker are also using it, and a lot of marketers are using them to kind of splash on their ads. So there's two sides to this. From a business aspect, a lot of businesses are really liking these QR codes because it enables them to not only do tracking on you with depending on the cookies, but they also can target ads at you, and they have better analytics on you. So 2 parts. Say you're at a restaurant, you scan a code, you order nachos. Now this restaurant knows that you like their nachos, and then maybe in a week they'll send you a coupon for 50% off and make it a more targeted ad towards you. The other part of it is maybe a retailer, right? Where you're at a retailer and you buy these certain types of products. They can gear these ads towards you. Or you're walking by a sign, you see a QR code, you scan it with your phone. Where was it scanned? On the corner of this street and this street. This is how many times it was scanned. This is the type of person who scanned it. And it provides those analytics to companies. And then on the flip side of it, it has been proven that QR codes can actually be used by hackers. Recently in Quebec, there was a hacker group that just replaced their own QR codes on somebody else's QR code. When people scanned it, they put in their information. They were prompted to put in email, some other stuff, and it could implement software onto their phone. Depending on what kind of phone you have, what kind of security you have. So I never knew that was a thing, and now I'm gonna think twice before I scan those codes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you see them everywhere. Restaurants are utilizing
just for
them.
that.
Pay for parking is utilizing that, and those are probably going to be the easiest for scammers.
The Zoo Passes are QR codes now.
All you gotta do is just print out your own QR code and slap it on there to replace it. I'm gonna start checking QR codes, start scraping at it with my fingernail, make sure it's a real one. It's like the credit card scammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah,
you're
the credit
saying-
card scanners at gas stations, that kind of reminds you.
You should
of what
always,
they do.
before you swipe your card, you pull on the green.
I
Yeah.
wiggle the fuck out of it. I practically abuse it. It's like tech
Like
it's
that.
just,
So
are
you're
you
saying-
real?
So what I'm hearing is that we need about 100 QR code official millennial stickers, and I can go throw them out on everyone's table.
I mean, you can. Oh my god! So while you're talking about that, NJ, a couple weeks ago, actually the week before I wasn't here for that last Naked podcast, I had gone out to this ramen place here in San Antonio, and the QR code would only work on Apple devices.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
Fucking why?
Yeah.
The people that run it are Apple people, and they're like, fuck everybody else. This works for us.
Yeah.
That just excludes half your customer base. Why would you want that? That's such a shitty thing to be oh,
like an
this is
Apple
the
person
free
thing.
version. Yeah. I mean, I'm an Apple person, and I think I would be more inclusive, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's that's the free version, right, of QR codes that they got. It's only for iPhones. If you want Androids, you have to pay something.
Well, I don't know if y'all have watched any Hulu Live lately,
Mhm.
but they have
Love it.
interactive ads with QR codes now.
Mm-mm.
That pop up on
Really?
the screen, you scan the QR code, and it's it takes you to that specific product or whatever.
Nah.
What?
I won't
That's
even.
crazy.
So,
That's awesome.
so my question is, if I have the Walmart app on my phone and I scan that, is it going to take me straight and order that off Walmart like that? Or
I mean,
off Amazon, off the app? Are they going to
Maybe.
link all that to the apps now? And what backdoor permissions are they getting on top of all that?
Well, here's some more information to know. So China has been doing this for years. It was really slow to adapt in the US for a number of reasons. People don't have access to technology. It's expensive to change your ordering system. Things like that. People they're confused by it. They don't really want to do it, but they were kind of forced into this by 2 things. So the first one being, Apple actually using their camera itself to go to the website directly. Apple was like the first phone company to do that. Before, you had to, I think, go to Google or have like a special app to read QR codes with your camera, but now you can just do it straight from your camera itself on your phone. And then two, of course, the pandemic. And just some interesting stats. So restaurants who use the QR codes have actually saved 30 to 50% on labor costs by reducing or eliminating need for servers to take orders or take payments, etc. And then, of course, cleaning costs, which I thought was pretty interesting.
And of course, not having the servers anymore.
I think I would love to get to a point where, and I know this is going to sound really shitty, but like servers aren't servers anymore, where customers put in their own orders, customize it how they need to. They do their own payments at the tables, and the servers just basically bring out the food, refill their drinks, and they can get paid a decent wage for doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
because
someone who's
a lot
like
of
an
restaurant-
introverted millennial, I would prefer not to talk to anybody.
Oh, I can tell you, it's been like I've gone to I can't tell you how many stores, and I haven't had used the cashier in like 3 weeks now.
Mhm. Yeah, whenever I
just
go to Home Depot, I just
self
go
check out on all of it.
Yeah.
Five Below, they don't even have people there anymore. There's like one person in the store.
Damn.
So you walk up, you grab what you want off the shelf, you walk up, you check out, and you leave. You don't even talk to people anymore.
It's like that Amazon Go
Yeah.
Yeah.
store that they have. Yeah.
Like the one in Seattle. Yeah.
Except Amazon is a lot more intense. It scans your app as you walk in the door, facial recognition, like they make sure you don't shoplift because there's nobody at those stores.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have like strict restrictions and really good security.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So it's just something to watch out for. Like I saw that and I was like, wow, like I didn't realize that was such a problem. And the more that I researched it, there is so much information out there on the internet about these QR codes, especially developers who are developing them. Businesses have capabilities to enable tracking or, do those targeted ads. And it really just reminded me of Idiocracy. Like, do you remember, like, at the beginning of Idiocracy, like it just ad, like in your face all the time.
As he's walking
like,
too, right?
As he's walking, it reminded me of that. Like you search something on your phone, like, donuts near me, and you see ads for donuts everywhere. So it reminded me a lot of that. And a lot lately has been reminding me of that movie.
So
Sounds like
a little
Wall-E.
off topic, but I gotta ask, do you think they should remove all the ads from Times Square?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
What's the benefit, or like what are the pros and cons of that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's ads every inch of Times Square.
Mhm.
So
I've never been. I don't.
they use a lot of power, and New York is in like a state of emergency on power wise. People
I
are
mean,
dying
if it's
of heat stroke.
it's not a necessity. I mean, during the snow apocalypse that we had here in Texas, cities were getting shit by keeping their skyscrapers lit up, by not conserving energy. So like, wouldn't New York have to do the same thing? Like, to me, it's a waste of energy. If you're going through an energy crisis, shouldn't that be the first thing to go?
Yeah, but skyscrapers do have their purpose of why they stay lit, right? Because you do have
Planes.
things flying that needs to see them. It's just like a lighthouse.
Yeah.
Lighthouse is like an ocean. But Times Square is just a vanity project, to show off ads and sell you shit as you walk down the street.
Right? Like there's a giant Coca-Cola sign, and then you have ads for Broadway and movies and fucking giant Samsung 100-inch TV there, or 1,000-inch TV. I don't even remember how big it is. If they're in a state of emergency, it's not a necessity. Like, they should turn those off.
Oh, I agree. Yep.
But it'd be really cool to play Halo out there.
Mario Kart.
Fuck
If
yeah.
Times Square is ever hacked to play Mario Kart, you know who it was. It was that guy.
I'm just talking about. Where are you pointing? Where are you pointing? Dodging these fingers left and right.
Well, if Times Square gets rid of its ads, I'm sure we wouldn't see anything from Disney up there. I'm sure Disney has a couple ads in Times Square.
Yeah.
Of course, Disney would have been promoting their new movies that they're putting out and their new TV series. We finally got Black Widow after almost a 2-year wait because it was supposed to come out like in 2019 and they pushed it to 2020 and then 2020 happened.
Even at that point, it was like the movie was dated between Civil War and Infinity War. It's like, why did it not come out when it was dated? It would have been $1 billion movie probably.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward on what you were saying.
Cruella de Vil. I think it's come out at its original time, hasn't it?
No, it was delayed too, but
it was delayed as well.
So Cruella, Black Widow, and Jungle Cruise were all scheduled to come out in theaters. So when the contracts were written, most of the actors had box office clauses. Mm-hmm. So they took reduced pay up front, and then they got percentage of box office.
And then there was no box office. Mostly because Disney had decided to release it on their own platform, Disney Plus, which was not accounted for in the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Widow is a really interesting one, right? Because Scarlett Johansson went back and forth. She actually has proof that she's tried to renegotiate beforehand. She has proof that she was assured that it will have a theater-only release. And all Disney has is, we'll see you in court. So it's interesting to see how it plays out because Disney doesn't lose in court. I mean, that's what keeps Mickey Mouse trademarked. He's actually not supposed to be trademarked.
Yeah, that trademark ended in like 1920.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But Disney has money.
So how much is she suing Disney for?
Right now, $50 billion. Or 50 million, sorry, not billion.
God damn! All right,
$50 billion. No, 50 million. So what she has come up with, what her people, the number they said was she missed out on $50 million because of the box office release. Mm-hmm. Well, I believe the last number was that Disney made about 80 million off of Disney Plus.
Bless you.
Early access.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. See, and that's the other thing is Black Widow was also the first movie that Disney Plus has ever put out any information on, like statistics. Yeah. They don't put out statistics on anything.
We have guesstimations for every superhero movie all the way from Iron Man to Endgame. So, that is surprising. But it's still... It's not a shock to me that Disney would rather let's just let the courts decide it, and try to set that example precedence. Like, no, we own you, you don't own us. As where HBO Max, before they made their decision to release all their movies on HBO Max, Warner Brothers reached out to all their talent and said, hey, we're renegotiating so we can release on the app only instead of theatrical. Like they did negotiation contracts.
Yeah, because they had to pay out. So they paid out. And
like 200
that's
million.
cool.
Yeah.
But again, Warner Media is going through a merger and already a lot of scrutiny from the law. So they don't want, they probably covered all their ass before it goes. Disney is in a huge hole right now, and they don't want anyone to know it. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to cover and hide and cheat every dollar they can out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think that they're in a big hole because their theme parks are still open. They've reopened all their theme parks.
Well, no, they are. Ethan, you were telling us a couple of months ago that they had like purposely planned projects way ahead, and like they're overspent on their budget because they know they'll make that money back on those future projects, right? I believe you were saying that last.
Yeah. So the issue that Disney's having right now is that when they structured everything right before the pandemic, they bought Fox, they bought a few other IPs. Everybody knows about Marvel. So they overspent on a lot of those projects. They overspent on future park projects because they had such a line out of movies coming out. They thought it was going to float the balance sheet. Well, all those movies got delayed 18 months or more or less. So now the balance sheets are not balancing. So
yeah.
Where do they get money? It's going to be Disney Plus. And plus, China just went back into lockdown, so they're probably going to start closing the parks again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, California didn't open up 100% until like last month, and they're about to go back under lockdown. They're pushing for it. So
yeah, and Florida is a hotbed right now. They reported 10,000 cases today.
So how much did Scarlett did she make off of Black Widow? I think it was like 26 or 20, around 20 million.
25, I think, was the last number I heard. But she made 25.
Mm-hmm. So, I think compared to like other actors too, I think Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. reportedly made from theaters like 50 million or like around that ballpark.
55 million in Endgame.
Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans.
But no offense to Scarlett Johansson, they are bigger draws in the box. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. does bring in more money at the box office than Scarlett Johansson, and I think I'm curious. I know there's other circumstances, but if you combine all of Black Widow's box office and streaming money and compare it to a movie like Due Date, I'm just curious to see how it would turn out.
Interesting.
I was saying the pay's also going to vary based on like screen time and stuff, right?
Well, it's all on negotiation contract. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, whether you think Scarlett Johansson made enough money, I mean, she sat down and she agreed to work for a certain amount on a contract and signed it herself.
Mm-hmm.
So give the girl what she's due. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well,
I think the only solution that would make her happy is that they factor in Disney plus box office and then give her percentage of the total. I think she would have dropped it then.
Yeah, that'll be a settlement right there.
Yeah. Disney Plus money.
Well, is Keelan, is anyone else considering suing Disney over this?
Emma Stone is for the same thing, but her biggest issue as to why she hasn't opened the case just yet is that they are currently in production with Cruella 2. And then Dwayne Johnson, he made the comment that he wouldn't be looking into a lawsuit with Disney over Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, but knowing his negotiations, how he negotiates, he also just does every movie possible. So I don't see him rocking the boat,
Well, I mean, he's already a Disney prince or Disney god.
Demigod.
I love the Jumanji movies.
And God, he did Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
He was Hercules.
Was he Hercules?
Hercules is a demigod too.
Yeah.
No, he was God who became mortal, and then he decided to stay mortal. He's not.
He had just a little drop of God left.
No, I was talking about Maui.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
He's a demigod in that.
Mm-hmm.
When will we know more about like any settlement, or news, or is it going to be heard by a judge or anything?
I do not know.
So currently they're still in arbitration. So.
Gotcha.
Well, I'll tell you who's not currently in arbitration. Activision Blizzard.
Oh my god, what a
That's been
nightmare.
a shit show all week, man.
So-
everything keeps coming out worse and worse.
So let me clue you all in on the Activision Blizzard news. So this is an investigation that's been going on for a while by the Department of Fair Employment and Housing in California. They recently released the they opened the case July 20th against Activision, claiming that it was a high harassment, high sexual assault, and frat house style environment of a company. And there are all these allegations that came out, and when Blizzard replied to that, they said, well, that's not fair, you know, we've been changing over the years, how dare you come at us this way when there's evidential proof showing you that we are trying to change. Well, after Activision made that response, several employees came out to the tune of 800 signing a letter stating that Activision was this toxic work environment. Like, there are countless allegations of high paid executives and higher positions for both Call of Duty and World of Warcraft production team members who were assaulting women. There today, an IT person came out in court as pleading guilty to planting cameras inside restrooms, like underneath the sink, pointed up towards the restroom, towards the stalls. There was a person who was a part of the World of Warcraft production team who was referenced as the cause, or because he had so many because he had so many sexual allegations where at an event, a private Blizzard event, he was trying to wrangle up girls to go back to his apartment, and he called it the Cosby Suite. There was even a girl who committed suicide because she slept with him at this event, and later at a future event, he was passing around naked photos of her.
That's horrible.
Yeah, no, it doesn't even stop there. The CEO for Blizzard came out and said, oh, well, you know, he tried to make an apology that was tone deaf. And because of that apology, over 2,000 Blizzard employees walked out from different departments. A ton of developers at Ubisoft signed the letter agreeing with the Activision Blizzard employees. Bungie employees and developers walked out of their positions, as well as developers at Microsoft, saying that, you know, we can't stand for this. This shouldn't be okay. So Blizzard is in a heap of mess, to where even their executive board is responding to with their own internal investigation.
See, and that's, I've heard like so many bad things come out, you know, like you talk about the cameras and the other stuff. But like some of the stuff, I would say a few of the items that have come out, it did sound like people were being a little oversensitive. Right? What was the one? Okay, so they were at an event and they were trying to recruit people to the software developers that go in and find the holes. What are they called?
Yeah,
they're
the
black
bugs.
hats. They're black hat hackers.
Well, yeah, but not the black hats. But they were like.
No, I know what you're talking about. It was a girl. She went to go talk to them, and she was like, "They're like, oh, like, where's your boyfriend? Are you lost? Are you talking about that event?"
No, not that one. But it was something like that.
That's another one.
Yeah, it was another one. So it was a female person that they approached, and I forget, because the name of the job is a suggestive name, right? So they made a dirty joke, and I'm trying to remember
penetration
the name.
expert.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was the exact one. And once you saw the whole list of what was all said, you're like, okay, maybe that one was some bad jokes, you know, like frat guy jokes, like you're saying.
Yeah.
They're not okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, they're not okay for, you know, a work environment. But at the same time, it does put it in a different perspective if, that is like a joke versus actually, sexually assaulting somebody, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's
Yeah.
still not
But
funny, especially
anyway, yeah, they've done way too much. I mean, you can't even say free Hong Kong at Blizzard, right?
No, yeah, they punished a streamer and banned him from oh my god, what game was it? Overwatch because of it.
Mhm.
They've
Yeah.
banned World of Warcraft streamers too for trying to show that support, because I mean, Blizzard, Activision's main biggest gaming community is in China.
And also War of Warcraft, like no work is being done on War of Warcraft right now. Like absolute zero
Everything
from their
is
game
stopped.
developers.
Yeah.
So you were saying there was a lot of people walked out. So I heard the official numbers were only like 150 people actually did the walkout.
Oh no, like
Well, a lot of remote workers too.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of remote workers signed up, but I mean they weren't able to walk out, right? Like,
Well, yeah, no, look, I mean, total, it's over 2,000 like actual Blizzard employees that didn't show up to work. But the people who were at the offices, it was janitors, support staff that were there, IT people who walked out and stood outside. And I mean, the community around Activision Blizzard really showed their support. There was a local restaurant that's popular to Blizzard employees that donated free food to their cause. There were porta potties that were delivered for free when nobody asked for them.
Well,
It's really
so
cool.
did
Yeah.
you dive into some of what the walkout demands were and that kind of items?
Yes, they want to be unionized. They want better wages, because one of the bigger issues is that the female employees just aren't being paid to any equality compared to their male counterparts. Like, female developers were getting pennies where male developers were getting like
Like
actual
what were they
bills.
making? Like, do you know?
Some of those numbers weren't disclosed at the time of the lawsuit, and they're
Well,
still
yeah,
kind of
'cause
up in the air.
there was a big Excel sheet that was leaked, right? That
Mhm.
they were passing around, filling out, so they
Yeah,
knew what all everybody was making.
yeah. Uh,
I mean, on that note, that's kind of unethical, right? Like, your pay should be between you and your boss, not
but it's not
like you
illegal
should.
to
Well,
share
it's
your
not that.
wage.
Just because it's not illegal doesn't mean it's not unethical. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I
the
would never disclose what I make to a coworker.
And I think that's because that's been ingrained in us too. Like
Mhm.
I'm also that same mentality. Like I would not share my wage. I don't even share my wage with like family or like close friends. Like, that's nobody's business but my own. But I think when you talk about inequality in wages for the same level of work, yeah, like I would think that would need to be recorded. That way those grievances could be addressed.
Yeah.
Maybe not from the employees themselves. Maybe that comes from HR, where HR has a log of, or payroll has a log of everybody's pay. That could be addressed that way.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, so what if you say, right? So you have 50 women. So we've gone over this before, right? It's not
Mhm.
a sexist thing to state, but women tend to be less eager to negotiate than men, right? Men are more negotiative just because they're a little more aggressive, right? So if you
Because it
had
can
one
be,
woman,
yeah.
yeah, not totally absolutes, but on average, more negotiations. Men tend to want to negotiate more than women, right?
Mhm.
On pays. And so if you had one woman who went and negotiated and she was a top coder and she used it and she's making 20,000 more than her male counterpart, why should she be punished because there's 50 women that didn't want to do what she did?
It's not being punished. It's if you're
Yeah.
doing the same level of work. If you're a top professional, topping your field, absolutely, male or female, you should be making more, period. But when you're talking about base entry level, typically in Blizzard specifically, these women are encoders on the same team as these other people, regardless if they negotiate their contracts or not. They're not getting paid the same, and that's not okay. And that's what their grievances are for. Like, hey, like, listen to us. we don't get the same level of projects. We don't get the same level of opportunity that our male counterparts are getting. Any projects that, that we could be part of and really contribute to, we're given lesser tasks. And that mentality by like that frat boy house, like, making jokes like this, like those penetration jokes that, yeah, okay, that's a boys will be boys attitude, but that's not okay anymore. And I think we kind of established that over the years. So I think with pay in particular, like I hear them, like, good for you. Like I want to see these changes being made across the industry, especially the gaming industry. A couple.
I mean, the fallout from Gamergate was a big deal, right?
I don't know what that is.
So Gamergate was the big reveal of all of what started all this stuff, right?
Oh, okay, like their payouts.
The reveal
and
of the bad culture around it. But
Well,
again, I mean, I can say I personally was looking into some of the demands, and I didn't see it as women inequality. I think the demands got a little more subcategory, right? And my big complaint with the way they were approaching Blizzard is they were narrowing down their categories, right? Like when you're going into a big negotiation, you shoot with a shotgun and see what hits. And they had too many people trying to focus on all these little groups. And so Blizzard can just easily pay off a couple of little groups, and what can you say then?
Well, see, that's what they're trying to avoid. They don't want a payout. They want a permanent fix in the industry, because one of the biggest things that has hurt the gaming industry is crunch. It's basically forcing your employees to work 10 plus hours, however many hours overtime, 10 plus hour days, just to release a game. Like that's been a big problem.
Again, but that's going to come back to the developers. And so if you're a big developer, right? If you actually understand a game, why do you have to work for Blizzard? That's my other question. Why? So, I mean, if you're a female creator, right, and you've been making little apps on your own, Blizzard is like, hey, try to lure you with a contract. Why do you have to take that contract? Can't you just...
So, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
there
absolutely
is
right.
That recruitment I was talking about, where they're telling this developer, like, oh, are you lost? Like, is your boyfriend here? Like, basically just being sexist assholes to her. She ended up becoming a CEO of another company, or like a CIO of another company. And that company was approached by Blizzard for a contract over a certain game developer. And the person, the CIO, she ended up telling her story to the CEO and the owner of the company. And they basically responded to Blizzard and said, hey, we have somebody on our staff that went to your recruiting event. This is what happened. This is what unfolded. And because of this, and this is what we believe in as a company, we will not be pursuing a contract with you unless you do, like, it was like two silly things, which to me, in my opinion, was over the top. But, like, they do have that discretion to say, you know what, we're not going to work with you, Blizzard, until you fix these things. But I do think that it's important that Blizzard faces these issues head on and makes these changes in the industry. And I think that other companies or industries that are dominated like this, especially in IT, it will make changes in those areas too.
Oh yeah, you're correct. I don't see how unionizing the IT field is going to, like, we as workers have moved past the need for unions, in my personal opinion, right? Like, we can negotiate face to face now. We don't need to elect a person to fly across to a different state to talk to corporate, right? Like, you can video call them now if you really want to negotiate.
Perfect.
You can very easily build your own game, go online, be an online creator. Like, there's so many other jobs that you don't have to work for Blizzard. So that, long story short on this rant, is if you really hate Blizzard and you really want to hurt them, stop working for them. If they don't have workers, they're not gonna do anything. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't do anything. They don't
Yeah.
have money. If they don't have money, they can't hurt anybody. Like,
Yeah, stop buying their games. Stop paying
haven't bought a
for
Blizzard
World of
game in
Warcraft.
years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially after the whole Hong Kong thing. Like, this left me a really bad taste in my mouth about Blizzard in general and the type of culture that they have there.
Oh, and one of the
I haven't played any of them.
responses to the lawsuit from the Department of Fair Employment and Housing from Blizzard is them claiming that the state of California no longer wants good companies working there, so they're trying to force everyone out.
Well, I mean, it's not that California doesn't have that. It's just it's their politics in California. Like, we've seen what becomes of it, right? Like, California right now is an example of what they want.
Yeah.
And I mean, so that's my biggest thing. California is supposed to be the most progressive, the most liberal state in the union, but yet everybody's fleeing there and everybody hates it. Like, maybe that's not always a good thing.
Yeah. Well, more information definitely is coming out about this whole thing. And honestly, every like news article that I see about it with something new, it's just like, it got worse, guys. It got worse.
It's one of those dumpster fires that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And for some reason, some homeless dude's just shoveling shit into it.
No, they're just taking a shit on the sidewalk.
No,
just like in San Francisco. Hey, you like the segue? That was a shit segue.
I'll give it to you. What's going on in San Francisco?
So, another place in California. Well, actually, so California and New York both are very big Democrat states holding right now. Well, with our current administration, you know, they're politically leaning. Everybody's leaning towards lockdowns. So supposedly the blue governors have already agreed to most of it. The only reason it hasn't gone into place right now is because of the red governors holding out. So the rumors going around is that Biden's writing up a speech right now to reinstate the lockdowns nationwide. And leading the charge is actually California, where they've already instituted mask mandates indoors and closing of unnecessary businesses, which happens to be Twitter HQ. So Twitter announced that New York and San Francisco branches will be closed for foreseeable future. They're just all going to work remotely.
That's fucking awesome. One, I can already think of the costs that they're saving with facilities.
Yep.
It's awesome for that, but also it's horrible for California in a whole, right? Because so moving forward, Twitter decides not to reopen their offices. What's going to hold their employees in California at that point, right? Yeah. If you can work for Twitter remotely, why aren't you going to go somewhere with a lower cost of living, less poop on the streets? You know, like it sounds crazy, but in San Francisco, they literally pay $100,000 a year for people to drive around and pick up poop off the street, human feces off the street.
Wow.
That's so there's actually a map, and it's lit. You can pull up a map of Twitter HQ, right? It's the poop map. And on the sidewalk in front, every time they pick up a poop, they mark it on the map. And so, like, where Silicon Valley, where all these big headquarters are, it's just like brown streets. You know what I mean?
That's so gross.
That's the only reason they hired people to come pick it up, is because it started affecting the Silicon Valley people. But anyway, I think it's going to start another snowball in the California economy, because they've already lost so many big corporations that they either said Florida, Tennessee, or Texas. Those were the three top places companies moved out of California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, California is facing more lockdowns, so more harm on their economy, right?
Mhm.
Businesses continue to move out. Tax base is eroding. What's going to happen to Colorado in 10 years? Or, I mean, not Colorado, California in 10 years. You know what I mean? At this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Honestly, the only way for like a big city like San Francisco to evolve into, you know, remote living is for small businesses to open up near where everyone else lives. Like it's
But they're not allowed to open. You can't open a small business on a lockdown.
yeah, it's true.
Something else I was thinking about was I think I saw this recently, and it was I don't remember what company it was, but they said it was a CEO sending a letter out to his whole company, and he basically said something along the lines of, if you're not going to work in New York at our offices, you're not going to get paid a New York wage. And I can't remember which company. It's like a big company or like a bank or something like that. I don't remember. But it was pretty interesting that they said that, because of course the cost of living in New York is higher, right? Maybe their salary is bigger than somebody who lives in Texas, of course. But I think that's okay. Like, I would be okay with that. I'd be like, fine. Like, you know what? Give me the wage that where I'm currently living. I don't want to work in an office if I don't have to.
Yeah, but then again, you're never supposed to take a step down in pay. So
I would be okay with that for quality of life.
Well, yeah. I mean, hell yeah. If I'm making 100,000 in New York, I'm living in a 2-bedroom apartment. If I'm making 80,000 in Podunk Town, Idaho, you know, I'm living like a
and
king.
I live in a Victorian mansion.
Yeah. And maybe that's a good, like, I don't see the downside to pushing people out of the cities.
Yeah.
I mean, I would guarantee all of us right here would move out of the city if we could.
In a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
In an absolute heartbeat.
Immediately, yeah. I'd bring my internet with me.
That would be the only thing.
So I know that this isn't relevant, NJ, to what you said, but I did find this was posted last year in October. Reddit announced it will not cut pay for workers who move away from San Francisco or New York. Because they have offices there. I'm trying to find the other one where you said the company.
But so, NJ, it's funny because it's like a little bit of a contradiction, right? From the Blizzard to now, right? If you're doing, it doesn't matter if you're doing the work remote from a different place. If you're doing the same quality of work,
exactly,
why would you be paid less?
Right.
I found it. It's Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley.
What company?
We have until the end of the year on our financial system collapses 100%. So they're gonna go out of business anyway.
No, Morgan Stanley is the name of the company. Top boss issues stern warning to his staff Monday: come back to the office by Labor Day or face a pay cut. Make no mistake about it. We do our workers inside Morgan Stanley offices. That's what we teach. That's where our interns are, and that's how we develop people.
Positions I can see, like, it's vital for your operation to continue in person, but most positions I will say that it's not probably something that they have to be. And you're absolutely right, Ethan. Like, if I'm doing the same level of work, we should be paid equitable. But like, if you're giving me a choice, be saying like you're gonna take a pay cut, I'll be like, okay, like,
bye,
I'm gonna stay at home. Like, it's that strong.
So
or
if
quit, find another job.
So if your work sent you to a different country like Mexico for a month and said, don't worry, while you're down there, we're going to pay you an equal standard of living for down there, would you still take it?
No, I wouldn't live in Mexico for a month.
Hard.
Now, if it was like a podunk town in Ohio or Iowa, No, like I live in Texas. But I'm saying, like, in regards to returning to an office, like, if you want to give me a salary cut because of that, like, I will take the salary cut and search for another position, you know, because my job isn't vital. I can do the same level of work, if not better, working from home.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of positions can do that. Some positions can't, you know, and that's okay. But I think it opens the roadways. The other day, I don't remember, it was like 2:00 in the afternoon, and Peach and I went to go do an errand or drop off food for my mom, and there was so much traffic. So much traffic.
Like,
and I'm like,
stupid, ridiculous
it's
amount.
2:00 on like a Tuesday.
Well, I mean, that's why kind of like the one upside, right? If they try to bring, well, they can't lock us down here, right? Because Abbott passed the laws that, you know, no more lockdowns, no more mask mandates, all that crap. But I'm like, can you lock us down for another couple months? Because I get free reign of the roads, and it's beautiful.
I mean, technically, if the national government says, all right, we're in a lockdown again, that supersedes whatever
No, it
Abbott
They
tries
can't
to
override a
push.
state. States' rights, buddy. Constitution. They would have to amend the Constitution in order to do that.
Greg Abbott would have to be another day conversation.
Yeah. I'm not voting
As I
for
always
him
say,
anymore.
come on, he doesn't even stand for his people.
Right, he got a $1 million payout just for the fucking Texas winter issues.
Did he? I didn't know
did.
that.
He did. That came out recently.
Why did he get that?
To prevent a bill from making the electric companies, ERCOT.
Isn't that illegal? Like, you
Yeah, I
can't
was gonna
accept
say,
a bribe.
he can't accept a bribe for not passing a bill. But anyway, I don't think he's going to be.
It was a donation.
So I think it's either two ways, right? He's going to get primaried, which there is a few strong contenders, or he's going to pass the legalization bill next year, and and everybody's going to vote back in again, just because.
Well, he's grasping at straws at that point.
Well, he's already started issuing licenses to dispensaries. So there was.
I've heard that.
Really?
He's issued like 9 licenses to dispensaries already. So
and they're all in
Austin. It's just time now. I don't know where they're at, but yeah, it's just a matter of time now.
If he does legalize, I'm still not voting for him. Like, I'm not happy with a lot of the things that he's done. Just because he did one thing.
Yeah, but a lot of it was, I mean, I haven't been so happy with him. And if they primaried him, I probably would vote for somebody else. But on a lot of the issues, I'm going to give him that I don't know if I could have done any better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can say I was probably the first one to say, hey, guys, this COVID-19 is coming. It's scary. Mm-hmm. And all of y'all were like, Ethan's a crazy conspiracy theorist.
Hey, I believed you.
And now we've completely swapped, right? I'm just like, if I die, I die. And y'all are like, give me more shots. Let's do this.
More shots.
Pump me up. Pump me up. Give me that COVID juice. Like, anti-juice. Anti-COVID juice. Yeah. So we'll have to come back to that another day. But this week, Wednesday, Jerks, who are you guys interviewing?
We actually, do you want to say crazy?
Lost Fables. Woo!
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 Chill dude, he's a variety streamer. I'm excited to have him on.
Yeah. Thursday, are you going to be back with Kata Puzzled?
I will be back, but Kata will not. She is currently on family vacay.
Aww.
So family vacay.
Excited for her and interested.
Which is super weird.
On Thursday.
So they just got back from vacation together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now she's on family vacation. But that means that her and Puzzled aren't talking at all why she's on vacation. I was like, y'all talk every single day. So she's taking a vacation from talking to you.
Aw.
Family vacation. That's okay.
Live in the moment. Gosh.
Yeah.
She doesn't
Ethan
need my
over
2:30
here.
phone calls.
What's up?
She doesn't need my 2:30 phone calls. Distracting her from her family.
What about you, NJ? Are you gonna stream Thursday?
Yeah, I think I'm going to come back with Neon Abyss. It's a really cool little platformer. I think everybody should check it out. I think it's on Steam, definitely on Game Pass. I think you can even get it on the Switch. It's a little dungeon crawler. The map regenerates every time you die. You get to find really cool weapons, and it's a lot of fun. So I'll be coming back with that. And then Saturday, our adventurers are back in D&D. From 12 to 3 on Puzzled's channel. And then Sunday, we have Double Trouble.
We are really excited to announce that we will be having a double feature of Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad.
I have a question.
So, The Suicide Squad comes out on Friday, August 6th. So we are going to double feature it on Sunday. Yes.
Which one was first, Suicide Squad or The Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad.
Okay.
The
Thank you.
second is called The Suicide Squad. I didn't.
Yeah, why did they?
Right?
It's like
I
Fast
change
and the
it.
Furious.
and the Furious.
The Suicide Squad was made pre-Snyder Cut, and then the Suicide Squad was made post-Whedon Cut. So they're going with the Whedon timeline.
Okay, that's cool. Well, didn't the director for oh, sorry, never mind. We're already at the end of the show. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm going to have a lot of questions. So, guys, pay attention to the text channel, please.
Okay. And anything else we need to announce?
Don't forget to buy your Stanley Nichols.
Yeah, buy your Stanley Nichols, guys.
For only
Just
a
kidding.
dollar.
We're not financial advisors. Do not buy Stanley Nichols. Do not listen to us.
Yeah, no, we're not. Yeah, no, don't invest into Bitcoin, even though it had like a $40,000 jump over the weekend.
No, you need to buy Bitcoin. Everybody should own as much Bitcoin as you can buy. When the economy collapses in December,
Oh God,
we're
don't
going
say
on a
that.
Bitcoin thing. It
Don't
is,
say
dude.
that.
Like, don't. You gotta watch everything going on. It's the bill's coming due, and it's scary.
Oof.
The evictions are coming this week. The moratorium's over. The debt ceiling's been reached. They can't pay anything. We're looking at defaulting on our loans for the first time in the U.S. history, like this year. So
Anyway, that's our show
That'd be
today,
fun.
guys. Here's our executive producer of the week.
Awful.
Everything's on fire.
everything is awful. You're gonna die today. Everything
Lost
is
Fables.
awful.
Lost Fables actually just went live, and he's doing a merch giveaway today. So, what do you guys think about rating into him?
I think that's a
let's do it.
great idea. Let me just make sure I got the right one.
Because everything is also awful.
Everything is awful when you're part of this team.
Everything is awful. Thanks for being here, guys.
Bye.
For those in my channel, thanks for chilling out. Give us a few more seconds.